Live from Oak Ridge, Oregon, it's the Spotlight Project presents musical guest Scott Hitchings with special guest artist Sissy Cutchen. Community Corner with Catrina Davis. Our new segment, Magic Hands. And now, please welcome your host, the very talented actor and director, Becky Chamberlain.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Spotlight Project Presents. Tonight, I am excited to have on the show some very special guests. We'll have Sissy Cutchen here to share with us her art as a contemporary folk artist. We'll have Community Corner with Catrina Davis, and we'll also have a visit from a very special friend and guest, Scott Hitchings. But first, inspired by the overwhelming response to our magic segment from Jeff Martin on our last episode, we now have a new segment, Magic Hands. Here with me tonight, I have American folk artist, Sissy Cutchen. Sissy, welcome to our show.
Thank you.
It's great to have you here.
Great to be here.
I was reading your bio, and I was just enamored with your story of how you became an artist. Will you share with our audience how that story?
So I don't think anyone necessarily becomes an artist. I think it's something that's always inside of you. Okay. But I think that there are things in your life that allow you to bring that gift forward. And what happened to me was on the eve of my 39th birthday, which in our family we celebrate the eve, and it made me reflective, and in the sense of, you know, what did I want 40 to be like? And I was in a dentist's office in Montgomery, Alabama.
Okay.
And everything about it was making me uncomfortable. It was kind of creepy and okay. not good. So I just looked at the dentist and I kind of flashed on how I wanted to go forward in life and on all the things that we carry and the ways we hold ourselves in. And I didn't want to keep doing that in my 40s. And so I looked at the dentist and I said, I'm not digging this and I'm not digging you. I'm leaving. And I literally got up and left, and I went home and started painting. And that's how it happened.
Wow.
And I went back to the dentist, but not that one.
So if that was going to happen, I'm going to assume you had some background in art, or there was support for arts in your family?
Kind of a strange sort of support that I had kind of a very bohemian upbringing in the San Francisco Bay Area, surrounded by art, and a family that felt like, why would you take art lessons? They'll just teach you how to paint like they do. And the problem with that is they also teach you what's poisonous. And so it's sort of a stiff learning curve if you are a self-taught artist. Mm-hmm. But what's interesting is many artists don't start until mid to late life. So my timing was perfect.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Well, awesome. And so I know you have some art that you're going to share with us tonight.
Okay.
And I think we're going to be showing the audience the art, and then we'll talk about each piece as it comes up.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so this first piece that we have here, can you tell us about that?
So it's a still life, but what I'd like to say about that piece is the frame is a vintage frame that I've repurposed. So that's also the vessel that the flowers are in is an antique spongeware vessel that I picked up, a pitcher that I picked up on a trip cross country. And I like to tie traditional elements, blue and white china, for example, into the work, because the work, oftentimes with folk art, people will look at folk art and say, this belongs in my cabin in Maine, or this belongs in my barn. And the truth is that folk art belongs in every collection, and to put these traditional elements in helps people see it in that context.
Nice, beautiful. Okay, what about this piece?
So that's just, you know, this feeling about sunflowers, which some crazy metaphysicist told me years ago, that the Earth is a depository for things from other planets. And I'm like, okay, whatever. But what's intriguing about that concept is that the sunflowers do follow the sun.
They do.
And they're not the only phototaxic plants, but the point is there's a mysticism and a mystery to that that's fascinating. And I love polka dots, and I love detail, and sunflowers have so much detail. So that's why I paint them.
It's gorgeous. And
so
this one?
This is what I call a low maintenance aquarium series. I paint fish because I studied marine zoology in college.
Okay.
And I, in that effort, I drew specimens tirelessly, and I feel like that's actually kind of where I got some training in art, even though self-taught, the concentration that went with it.
Absolutely.
So there are two kinds of fish I do. Whimsical fish, which I call kind of Dr. Seussy looking fish. Yeah. And then I can actually do fish really well. But the point is the fish that I do are always anatomically correct and have elements to them that are very much in biology and nature. And fish also have so much variety of color and shape that they just never stop being interesting.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. All right.
So
and next,
the last piece and this piece are on windows too. They're antique windows, and the work is really a celebration of life, using objects that were created by hand in another time that served a purpose to sustain our lives, really. Right. And I have an immense reverence for the stories they have to tell and the people that created them. So my work is about bringing that energy into the piece and giving it a contemporary value. And this was a wonderful, very recent inspiration. The poppies that you just saw were my neighbor's poppies on West Oak Road.
That was beautiful. This one.
The poppies, My neighbor's poppies on West Oak Road. Awesome. So this is a really important piece to talk about because it's bronze, and I'll just say quickly that when all of the other art in the world is dust, anything in bronze will still be here. So this is, from a post office. It's a post office box store, and the little American flag is painted on the window where you would look to see if you had mail. And my work is on glass mostly. I paint on the frames because I feel like the work can be elevated by the frame or deflated by the frame, and the frame does so much for the piece.
Well, thank you. That is awesome. I really love
Thanks.
what you're doing,
Thanks.
and your art is just beautiful.
Thank you.
So, you've brought something with you today.
So
to share
this
with
was
us?
just the piece that you saw. It's the post office box. It still has a combination. But what I want to really emphasize is reverse painting. Painting on the back of glass goes back hundreds of years, but to use both surfaces, where I use the back and the front, allows me to create a three-dimensional, very intriguing picture that allows for a moment of dissociation, to go into the work, to travel to another world, to get lost in the piece.
Oh, definitely. I have to say, seeing it in person, it is absolutely stunning.
Thank you.
It's very nice.
Thank you.
So, in Oak Ridge, you're an artist, you're a part of an artist community, and so what's your vision for the arts in Oak Ridge?
So what I feel like as an artist is moving to Oak Ridge 2 years ago for my husband's job here. I talk to my friends and they say, I've never heard you be so happy anywhere you've lived in 33 years in the Navy, 31 years in the Navy, and since the Navy, traveling around, and I'm very happy here. And one thing that I need is, just like the people in Oak Ridge need to go out in the woods, not everyone, but you know, the nature here is so quelling to the spirit. But I need art, and I need to see art. And there's so many artists here, but they're not necessarily visible. And so what I would love to do is what I am doing, which is putting art in public places and having art be much more a part of everyday life in Oak Ridge. And futuristically, to do some workshops at the library on Fridays when the kids aren't in school.
Nice,
And
yes.
using classes that like sewing, teaching, measuring, and fractions and things by the art, teaching with art. And so I'm really excited to do a couple of programs at the library.
Well, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, and thank you so much for being here on our
Thank
show
you.
tonight. We really enjoyed
I would like to mention the Oak Ridge Arts Council Gallery on Highway 58 has just opened.
Yes.
And we're sending people there to see the art of the artists of Oak Ridge. And this community is so rich with art.
And so where else can people find your art?
My art is in a couple of restaurants. Well, it's in Miguel's Tacos, and it's also at the pharmacy. And we have some pieces moving around. I'm going to put some pieces in City Hall and move the pieces in City Hall to the bank. So we kind of are moving art around, and any artists that want to join us can.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, outside of Oak Ridge, is there anywhere people can see your work?
Currently, I am just here, but I'm working on doing some art in public places in Eugene, too.
On social media platforms or anything?
I have sissysfolkart.com, which is
Okay.
my website, and I have sissysfolkart.etsy.com, where these pieces are.
Oh, perfect. Well,
Yeah.
great.
So, and also I want to mention the Highway 58 Herald has been immensely supportive, spreading the news about artists, and we're so lucky to have a Pulitzer Prize winning editor on the staff. The art in Oak Ridge is amazing, and I hope that everybody starts paying close attention.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for being here tonight. It was
Thank you.
wonderful to have you. Okay.
It's Community Corner with Catrina Davis.
Hi, this is Catrina Davis, and welcome to Community Corner. This week we're visiting with Ben Ward, new owner of the Willamette Lanes here in Oak Ridge. Thank you for squeezing us in, Ben, between private parties.
Not a problem.
This place looks wonderful.
Thank you.
How long has the renovation taken you?
We started it last October, and we're still in the middle of it, but I think we've done pretty good for 6 months worth. So,
I understand you basically had to start from scratch when rebuilding the alley here. What was your biggest challenge?
getting all the equipment to function, everything to turn on. When we started, lane 1 came on, no scoring came on, a couple of lights above your head here came on, and that was it. So, biggest challenge was rebuilding something that's 30, 40 years old and making it come back to life. There is no replacement parts, there is nothing. So, It's rebuild what you have.
Yeah, that's great. And you mentioned earlier that the chairs and some other things you have gotten from another bowling alley.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Yes, they were amazing people. We went down for a week and cut me an awesome deal. And it's a lot because of them that I'll be able to get this thing opened up.
Why a bowling alley?
Now, I like bowling, love bowling for one, but I did 22 years retail, hated every minute of it. I wanted something better for my family. I tried to move closer to my family that live up here. So I've been eyeballing the building for quite a while and saw a for sale sign and went for it.
Well, thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
I know for many of us, going bowling with family and friends was a big part of our lives. Was it that way for you when you were growing up?
Yeah, I did a lot of bowling as a kid. I know my mom was in the league for a long time. Growing up, teenager, I loved it. So everybody always comes in and has fun. The town needs something to do desperately. So I think it'll go good.
Great. Will leagues be forming anytime soon?
When the glitches are worked out and I've been open for a little while, I would like to attempt it, yes.
Earlier I mentioned private parties. How do people go about reserving the bowling alley?
You can get a hold of me on Facebook. You can message me through the Willamette Lanes page. Facebook's the easiest way.
All right. Well, I want to thank Ben for spending some moments with us. And please be sure to reserve your next private party here at the Willamette Lanes in Oak Ridge. And now, Tony, or Anthony, is going to give me some pointers on my bowling. We'll see how that goes. I am here with Anthony Ward, and he is going to give me a few pointers on my bowling game. Anthony? Not bad. Not bad. Never look at the pins, ever.
Welcome back. It is my greatest honor and such a treat to introduce Scott Hitchings, our musical guest tonight on our show. Scott, your career has taken you all over the world. You have performed with over 30 artists. You have written music, produced the music, played the music. I don't even know what else is there.
Not much.
You've done it all. You've played with people like the Temptations, the Supremes, Jefferson Starship. How did this happen? How did you get your start? What went on that led you to this?
Hi, Becky.
Hi, Scott.
Nice to see you, girl.
Good to see you too.
I got to tell you, we have to go a long way back with my history in this instrument. My mother decided that my sister and I, Andrea, were going to learn how to play the piano, whatever it took, piano lessons. And I think I was 4 years old when they rolled one of these big things into the house, and I kind of looked at it and said, wow, what is that? Then all of a sudden I realized, whoo, it makes noise. So I figured this might be fun. And my first song was... So at 6 I started the lessons, and my sister had already taught me this one. But then the lessons came along and I said, and then came Bach, Beethoven, and Mozart. One day I was playing and I looked out the window that I could see in the side yard, and I noticed a lot of people out there playing kickball and throwing the baseball around and this and that, and I was playing. football and baseball looked like a lot more fun.
Wow.
So as I continued to take lessons, I kind of drifted away, and about age 13, I found a guy that wanted me to see if I could play the drums, so did a little bit of that. And as we moved across the country, my dad being a federal worker, I ran into a small band when I was 13 in a small town called Miles City, Montana.
Oh, yes.
And because we were the only group that was playing any type of rock, it was all country up there.
I bet it was.
We were playing the Louie, whoa, baby, I said, we gotta go. And I found that the piano was becoming more fun to me. So history passed, and moving to the corporate jobs and all those things after college. At about age 25, I decided if I'm going to play music for a living, I need to move. So out to LA I went, and a couple of years of starving and struggling. But kept answering the phone, and one time I got a phone call from a band that was very popular on the beaches of California, Huntington, Malibu, all those, and got into that band, and we were playing all types of Motown and dance music, and one thing led to another. Kept answering the phone, which is a smart thing to do. And all of a sudden, I got a call from a guy that was running a concert group, meaning we had a 12-piece band that opened up or played behind numbers of acts that had big hits in the 60s and 70s.
Okay.
But maybe they only had 2 or 3, so they couldn't fill an arena on their own. So this very smart promoter said, let's put 6 or 7 of these acts together with one band. And all of a sudden, we were selling out arenas coast to coast.
Nice.
With guys like, Duke of Earl, Gene Chandler, Peaches and Herb, scores of artists. And so that went along pretty well. And through that, a good friend of mine that also played keyboard said, could you cover for me on a couple of Supremes gigs?
Oh, okay.
And I was like, sure.
Well, yeah.
And that led to
Who says no to that?
About 3 years into that, I was having fun. We were doing tours of Japan and all around the world. And one of the Temptations decided, what a good idea to put the Supremes and Temptations together. So the first tour was called A Night of Supreme Temptation, which I thought was quite a selling name for that
Very
group.
wonderful, fitting.
And the two groups worked beautifully together, and got all that experience. And
so you played for them both?
played for both of them.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a long night.
Yeah. But beautiful days, 25 countries, 5 million people served.
Wow.
I think that's the McDonald's thing.
That's the thing.
5 million served. And in between that, there was a little bit of stuff with Jefferson Airplane, Starship with Paul Kantner. One of my favorite shows of all times was doing a Canadian military base. And we were playing the show, and Paul was kind of the leader. And Marty Ballin was singing with us. And because Grace Slick lived in Canada, and we were putting this on for Canadian troops, she showed up.
Oh, that's amazing.
And the audience went crazy doing it. Want to sing?
I don't know his lyrics, but I could make some up.
That White Rabbit song.
Yes, I
Yes. So that was kind of L.A. and just wonderful times. Great traveling. Spent time in many very exotic places.
Yeah, it
Kuala
sounds like it.
Lumpur. Lots of time in Japan, Sri Lanka. We had just amazing experiences and really good food.
Oh, I bet.
So
The world is your cuisine.
yeah, it was
So
really great.
after that, what's going on after that? You started teaching. Is
Yes,
that correct?
funny. In the middle of all that, I was called by a teacher at the first magnet school in Los Angeles, and she was looking for a piano player to accompany their musical theater and their
Okay.
choirs and courses. And I said, I'll give it a try. And 4 years later, they handed the program over to me, and the choir was the largest class in the school and kind of prestigious. We did Star Spangled Banner at a few Dodger games.
Nice.
Different events. But that was probably one of the most rewarding parts of my music career, was helping children. And as I always say, when I teach, I'm not teaching you music, I'm going to teach you confidence through music.
And you do.
Because music is such a confidence builder, and I've had a great experience with teaching, and also recording, and have made some records and this and that.
Yeah. And so now you're in Oak Ridge.
I am an Oak Ridge.
And so tell us, how did that happen? How did you go from that to Oak Ridge?
Gee, I feel like I should play a song.
Oh, please do. I'm ready. Yes.
So you asked me a couple days ago my favorite Temptation songs.
I did.
And, well, here's one, and this has to do with the story I'll tell about Oak Ridge. I got sunshine on a cloudy day.
And we do.
When it's cold outside, I got the month of May. Hey, I guess you'd say, what can make me feel this way, my girl? Thank you. Well, in 2012, LA, we'd lost Richard Streep, The Temptation, and the girls were getting a little fragile to be doing all those dance moves around the world. So I saw things starting to drift away a little bit, and I said, you know what, I'm going to move to South Carolina, Lake Marion, and I found a beautiful house right on the lake, and would put me closer to my family that lives in Atlanta, Georgia. And my girl, the love of my life, Catherine, said, I think it's time for you to see the family cabin. So we jump on the train from LA, and one of the most spectacular trips I've ever been on. We got a little cabin, we had all the food and the wine in the afternoon, and just really great. And we arrived in Eugene, picked up by her father who lives there, and all of a sudden we rented a car and drove the 35 miles up to Oak Ridge. And when I got to this town, I felt the sense of refreshment, like, wow, beautiful. And so we visited the family cabin. We flew home, and I called the real estate agent in South Carolina and said, never mind. And we moved here going on 5 years in August, and this has been probably the most delightful community of all the ones I've been to in the world, that is loving, caring, taking care of each other, family spirit, all those things.
Okay.
And
down
I've
over there.
had the ability to really share great music here. There are a couple of beautiful venues here in Oak Ridge, and I get to play the piano and sing and get people around me to play and sing as well. And I think of all the things that I've done, have I given anything up? And I feel like not at all. Because now what I like to do is to play music, have people sing, and be happy and smiling and dancing and laughing and having fun.
Well, then you're in the perfect place, aren't you?
I am. Oak Ridge, you just can't beat it. So, yeah.
Well, you want to share a song with us?
Sure.
All
Let's see. She packed my bags last night, pre-flight. 0 hour, 9 a.m. And I'm gonna be high as a kite by then. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time. Touchdown brings me out again to find not the man they think I am at home. Oh, no, no, no. I'm a rocket man. Rocket man burning out his fuse up here alone.
Thank Ah, that's wonderful.
Temptations. We were in Japan, and there was a piano in the lobby, and I was, how do I say this, one of the few white guys on the stage. But I loved the band, and they loved me. And Richard, who was one of the originals, joined up with the Temptations in '72 and sang the song on the record. I was down in the lobby of the hotel playing it, just kind of warming up, and I was singing it, and he walks up to me and says, "Scotty, you can't sing that song. Don't sing that song." So I kind of quit, and then we were in Dallas, Texas about a year later, and I kind of fell on in love with the song. And there was a piano in the lobby, and there's Richard, and he walks up to me, and I'm like, uh-oh. And he leans over, he goes, "Nice work, young man."
Oh. Oh, yeah.
Each day through my window, I'll watch her as she passes by. There goes my baby. I say to myself, "You're such a lucky guy."
Lucky guy.
Oh yeah. To have a girl like you is truly a dream come true. After all the fellas in the world, she belongs to me. Hey, hey, and I say, and it was just my imagination once again running away with me. Oh, it was just my imagination running away with me. And the reason, go. We're having too much fun here,
We
people.
are. I was going to say, maybe our audience doesn't know that we have played music in the past.
We have.
You were a huge help when Catrina Davis and I did Honky Tonk Laundry, our first our first musical of the Zero Clearance Theater. And that was just, you were an amazing help with us on that. But we also sit in and play from time to time.
Yeah, we do.
And you've kind of got a new thing rolling at the Three-Legged Crane at the pub.
Yeah. Well, the owner, John, came to me and he said, "I've always wanted to sing, and I've always wanted to do soul music." And I was like, okay.
Right, you've
So
got that.
he and I got together a few times, and I realized he's got a groove. So we kind of put a few things together. We've written a couple of original songs, but play a lot of standards. And then Becky comes and says, "Hey," and I went, "You want to be a part of it?" So we've named the group Soul Crane Singers, and here's one of them. Would you like to sing something?
Oh, I don't know. What do you want? Oh. Okay.
Putting her on the spot here.
Really?
Now, don't forget to breathe.
At last, my love has come along.
Oh, yeah, girl, come on.
My lonely days are over.
Give it to me.
And life is like a song. Oh, yeah. At last.
Oh, come on, give it up for that, yeah. So Oak Ridge, beautiful. And the type of people that I just love to hang around with and work with and become best friends with and sing with and laugh with and play with.
And I have to say that you are a special inspiration to people. What you give to people when you are playing, or when you're teaching, or when you're mentoring, or when you're encouraging, is very special.
Well, thank you.
And I have seen your students and your cohorts and all of the above. And I can say, Scott, that without any exception, you are an absolute asset to our community.
Well, I feel blessed to be able to do this.
And we are blessed to have you.
Hey now!
You got a song for that?
I do. And it's one that'll make you a little teary-eyed.
Oh, great.
Well, let me go back.
I got all this
again.
beautiful makeup on. These girls worked hard.
When I was 12, my piano teacher, he saw I was getting bored with the Bach, Beethoven, and Mozart, so he said, why don't you find a song and see if you can arrange it for yourself? So I went to my dad, who was like, what? I said, what's your favorite song, Dad? And he said, Misty. So I said, Dad, I'm going to figure out a way I can play it at 14, and I made my own arrangement, and it goes like this.
Okay. Yay! So great. Well, I don't know. I don't know where we're going from this point. It's all very misty. Anything else you want to share? You got anything else up your sleeve?
Oh, I got all kinds of things up my sleeve. Let's see. Anything you want to request?
Oh, I don't know. What's your best? What's your fave?
Well, I do all kinds of cover things because I just love that people know these songs. So I think I played this one a little earlier for the crew, and I think they seem to like it. I'll play a little bit of the Eagles.
There you go.
Desperado, why don't you come to your senses? Been out riding fences for so long now, and you're a hard one, but I know that you got your reasons. There's things that are pleasing you can hurt you somehow. Don't you draw the queen of diamonds, boy, she beat you as she's able. You know the queen of hearts is always your best bet. It seems to me some fine things have been laid upon your table, but you always want the ones you can get. Desperado.
Yay! Oh, Scott, thank you so much for being on our show tonight.
Becky, it's been my pleasure and honor to work with you and the whole community of Oak Ridge. It just...
Thank you. You've really made a special night for us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
You take care.
Thanks. So tune in next time, and we will be featuring new acts, new artists, and we'll have our community corner again, as well as, excuse me, I'm still cheery, as well as Magic Hands. See you next time. Good night.
Thank you. you for watching the Spotlight Project Presents. Join us on Sunday, June 13th at 7 o'clock as we journey back to the golden age of radio with the Zero Clearance Theater Company. Community Corner with Catrina Davis, along with special guest Doug Bates of the Highway 58 Herald, and musical guest Broken Horn, along with something new, the Mountain Kids Minute. I'm David Jenkins, bidding you good night from Oak Ridge, Oregon. This has been a Spotlight Project production.